Chapter 9. Teachers. Paving the Way for My Future, 1966 to 72. Teachers, alongside our parents, are among the most unforgettable figures in our lives. My entire school education unfolded during the Cultural Revolution. Ms. Liu, my first homeroom teacher in elementary school, was a nurturing, mother-like figure in my early years. She took a particular liking to me, largely due to my handwriting, and often praised me in class, which initially made me feel embarrassed. In second grade, she entrusted me with a significant task, creating large character revolutionary slogans to decorate our classroom walls. After a brief moment of hesitation, I dipped the brush into thick black ink. My hand glided smoothly across the paper, forming bold, confident characters that embodied the spirit of the revolution. Sailing the seas depends on the helmsman. I advance as Chairman Mao directs. The words flowed effortlessly, as if they had been stored within me for years. Though I had never practiced large-scale clerical script, I had long held vivid images of its elegant forms in my mind. My love for calligraphy drove me to study classic examples wherever I encountered them, etching their shapes into my memory. I would mentally rehearse and practice these forms constantly. The moment the brush met the paper, it felt as if I had written these slogans this large countless times. Then came a hushed silence. Finally, audible gasps of astonishment followed. Even Miss Liu seemed stunned.
Incredible,
she exclaimed, pride radiating from her eyes. I was secretly startled myself. Where had this all come from? Regardless of the answer, that day marked my calligraphy's official debut. As I advanced through school and navigated the political landscape in the years that followed, I came to understand the profound impact of a beautifully crafted Chinese character, symbolizing skill, integrity, and leadership. It was Ms. Liu who first recognized my talent. However, I also recall causing her significant embarrassment. Ms. Liu frequently praised my handwriting in class, holding it up as the standard. Yet one day, she offered a heartfelt compliment about me that lingered in my mind, intertwined with years of painful memories.
Look at Zhenfeng Yang,
Ms. Liu suddenly declared to the class.
Why is his handwriting so exceptional? Because he practices diligently and works hard every day. Isn't that right, Zhenfeng Yang?
Surprised and uncertain, I paused. Her question caught me off guard, and in my bewilderment, I revealed the truth.
I actually didn't practice that much. I just...
Ms. Liu's face turned red, and her gentle eyes filled with a sudden hurt.
So, you believe in the genius theory, then?
She asked sharply, in a tone I had never heard from her before. I was frozen, shocked, and embarrassed. I hadn't meant to come off as arrogant or humiliate her. I just aimed to be truthful. In my honesty, I inadvertently suggested that talent outweighed effort, a notion condemned by Chairman Mao during Lin Biao's coup. This was something no teacher during the Cultural Revolution could ignore, as they were compelled to demonstrate unwavering allegiance to Mao. A thick silence enveloped the classroom, and I desperately wished to disappear in that instant. From fourth grade onward, I developed another bad habit, reading novels in class, hidden beneath my desk. One afternoon, while Ms. Liu taught with fervor, I was so engrossed in reading a book tucked under my desk that I didn't hear her calling my name. A tense silence suddenly gripped the classroom. Sensing something was amiss, I looked up to find Ms. Liu standing before me, her shadow looming over my desk as the entire class watched.
You seem to be enjoying yourself with great relish.
Ms. Liu softly shook her head. Her tone expressed no anger, only a gentle disappointment intertwined with affection. She refrained from taking my book or scolding me. Instead, she turned and returned to the blackboard, continuing her lesson as if nothing had happened. Yet deep down I knew I had let her down. That awareness felt more burdensome on my young heart than any punishment could have inflicted. From that day on, my classmates began calling me "enjoying yourself with relish." The nickname followed me through my elementary school, evolving into a reputation and a quiet rebellion. By 5th grade, Ms. Liu had ceased teaching us. Our connection weakened over time, and I missed the opportunity to repair it. That feeling still haunts me like a lingering injury. Ms. Li Zijun took over as my homeroom teacher. Ms. Li embraced my reading habits, sometimes even encouraging them. She would mention my love of books in class, even suggesting to other students,
If you have any questions, you can ask Jen Feng Yang as well. He's read books even I haven't.
Her words were a quiet endorsement, an unspoken approval of my intellectual rebellion. She understood what I was searching for, something beyond the slogans, ideology, and classroom walls. For that, I will always be grateful. While calligraphy and art showcased my innate talents, literature provided the essential nourishment for my mind. At that moment, music emerged as the new focus of my life. At first, music felt like an alien language, a strange domain filled with symbols and numbers scattered across pages, producing sounds that eluded my understanding. I found music class painfully tedious. The notes were perplexing, and the keyboard seemed like an enigmatic contraption, its black and white keys resembling an indecipherable code. Then Ms. Gong entered my life. She didn't just teach music, she unveiled its mysteries. She encouraged me to see music not as a rigid discipline, but as a lively, dynamic force. Holding my hand, she led me through a portal into an unknown world. This was during 3rd grade. One day, during a break in music class, my classmates rushed off, leaving me alone in the small music classroom. I noticed the organ's cover was slightly ajar. The organ was unmistakably Ms. Gong's prized possession, yet now it stood open, with no one around. My heart raced with excitement.
Could I?
I hesitated. Then, mustering my courage, I reached out and pressed a key. A sound. I froze. The organ actually made a sound. A surge of excitement filled me. I pressed one key, then another, captivated by how they responded to my touch. Though I was uncertain of my actions, there was an undeniable thrill in producing sound from the keys. Moments later, a voice suddenly called out from behind me.
Oh, Zhenfeng Yang, you're playing the organ?
I turned in shock. It was Ms. Gong. I felt like a thief caught red-handed. My face burned. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Ms. Gong studied me for a moment, then said,
Play. Keep playing.
I stood still, paralyzed, unsure whether to proceed or flee. Noticing my turmoil, she eased her expression.
Zhenfeng Yang, do you truly enjoy music? Can you sing?
Can you sing? That question left me baffled. Sing? It had never crossed my mind. How could I possibly know if I could sing? Not wanting to let her down, I nodded uncertainly. Then she spoke the words that transformed everything.
Come join the school performance troupe.
My heart nearly stopped. What? The performance troupe? That was like being chosen for Hollywood. I could hardly believe my ears. Dazed, I entered a world that once felt impossibly far away, a realm brimming with music and performance. At first, my fascination with the organ stemmed more from its mechanical allure, noticing how the keys reacted and the surprising sounds they produced when pressed, than from the music itself. Surprisingly, I soon found myself surrounded by true performer students who were genuinely adept at their art. It quickly became evident that I lacked true musical talent. I didn't grasp rhythm, had no sense of melody, and had a mediocre singing voice. Ms. Gong noticed my hesitation, so she began my training with percussion instruments, cymbals, waist drums, and gongs, anything that would help me blend in while minimizing mistakes. However, as time passed, everything changed. Joining the troupe plunged me into a vibrant world of sound. I learned to sense rhythm, sing harmoniously with others, and fully immerse myself in the performance energy. Then, an incredibly significant moment in my musical journey arrived. One day, Ms. Gong announced that we would perform alongside adult choirs at the People's Grand Stage for the National Day celebration. I was taken aback. A real stage, a real audience? When the moment arrived, I stepped onto the expansive stage and took my designated position. I gazed at the sea of faces in the audience. My legs wobbled beneath me. The multitude of expressions sprawled endlessly ahead, and the bright stage lights dazzled my vision. I felt like I might tumble off the stage into the crowd below. But then the music began. The surrounding voices merged into a singular, powerful force. The vibrations resonated through my chest. As I opened my mouth to sing, something within me changed. For the first time, I was no longer just a bystander to the music, but a part of it. Participating in the performance troupe included both singing and dancing. Our routines were often militant and revolutionary, showcasing pieces like Charge Forward, Forward, and Loyalty and Devotion to Chairman Mao. We emphasized our movements by swinging our arms in clenched fists, raising our little red books high, and performing synchronized actions to embody the steadfast revolutionary spirit. Naturally, I lacked rhythm and coordination. My feet seemed to move against the flow, making it difficult to keep pace with everyone else. Yet, I was undeterred. I was just thrilled to perform alongside the more experienced and graceful female students. One night, we held an impressive outdoor performance at school. It was an evening event, and I was given a role in the dance number I loved the most. The people of Asia, Africa, and Latin America must be liberated. The stage was set right in front of the towering church building, but we were clueless about where we were performing in front of. As I jumped and stomped wildly across the stage, shouting and chanting revolutionary slogans, I had one advantage. I had black makeup on my face as an African. No one could recognize me anyway. That night, hidden in the darkness, I danced with abandon, knowing no one would ever know it was me up there making a fool of myself. The performance was a huge success, of course. Or maybe, just maybe, it was huge because no one realized I was dancing. In 5th grade, an unexpected event occurred. Ms. Gong came to my home. During my 10 years of schooling, I had never experienced a teacher coming to my home. This was during the Cultural Revolution, when few dared to visit a student's family. That day, my mother was not home, but my father was. I was taken aback when my father seemed genuinely happy to see Ms. Gong. His usual stiffness melted away as he greeted her with an unusual warmth and respect. Clearly, he felt privileged by her visit. As they conversed in our modest room, Ms. Gong spoke highly of me, commending my musical abilities. She kindly suggested to my father that I consider learning an instrument such as the flute or the violin. My father was not a music guy at all. He spoke little, simply nodding with contemplation. Yet the following day, without saying anything, he took me to the #1 Central Department Store, where he had previously worked, and purchased a bamboo flute. The flute cost 2 yuan and about a week's worth of our family's expenses. Initially, I struggled to play the flute, barely producing a sound for an entire week. Frustrated, I set it aside, likely distracted by my father's sudden grave illness. After his passing, at least a year later, while quietly sorting through his belongings, I found the flute, forgotten at the bottom of a drawer. Cradling it in my hands, I felt a tightening in my heart. I suddenly realized something I had previously overlooked. This was the final gift my father ever gave me. It wasn't just an instrument, it embodied his silent, hopeful message. With quiet determination, I picked up the flute once more. From that moment on, I practiced diligently, resolved to honor his last gesture, his expectation for his elder son. Reflecting on the past, I now understand that Ms. Gong truly recognized something within me, something hidden and untapped. She unlocked a door I hadn't even known existed, and once I stepped through, music became a lifelong passion. Ms. Gong was more than just a teacher. She was the nurturing force behind my musical journey.